Hello and welcome to my dental hygiene school experience. My name is Dax Ska, and each episode I'm going to share my own experience of dental hygiene school, the highs, the lows, the funny, and the real. Thank you for joining me on my journey, and here's another episode right now. What's up, dental nerds? This is Dax Ska, and I'm here to tell you about week 13, lucky number 13. So we are getting near the end of the semester. This is semester 1, so that's exciting. I just need to push through for about 2 more weeks and then I'll be done. Very close to finals. Those are in week 15. And this will be our first round of finals. Many classes have shifted from teaching material now into reviewing the material we've already learned. Most of the classes we have are comprehensive exams, so that means that we're going to cover everything from the beginning of the class until the very end, so very all-inclusive. So that means being tested on stuff that we've already been tested on, but I guess they just want to make sure that we actually learned it. Anyway, I think communications and psychology, those are the 2 classes where they are not comprehensive. They're just covering since our last exam, so that was about the middle of the semester. And it's just covering material we have not been tested on yet. And, because we're near the end of the semester, I really don't have a lot of updates to share about classes. Everything's just kind of just waiting for exams, I guess. In terms of my commute, traffic is about the same. Even though school has started, I haven't noticed much of a difference. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for updates for this week. But I am excited about this episode because I interviewed one of my instructors, Andrea. It was a good interview, but she had some really good information to share. But we did have some technical difficulties recording this episode. It was actually our second time trying to record it. The first time just didn't work out. And then during the interview, we had to stop and start again a few times, and so things got a little bit mixed up. I kind of edited things out so that way it sounds like one cohesive conversation, but there's times where things may sound a little bit off, so if it does sound off, it's just due to the technical issues, and it kind of sounds like one time I cut her off. That wasn't the case. It's just the editing, how it kind of sounds, and we just kind of switched subjects all of a sudden. So there's the downside of technical difficulties. It doesn't always work when you have such cool technology, but when it works, it's great. But that's all I have to say for the introduction. Let's take a little bit of a break, and then we'll jump right into the interview. Welcome to the show, Andrea. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Just finished a long day of school and commuting, so ready to get my evening started.
I bet.
Yeah. So for my listeners, why don't you introduce yourself?
So my name is Andrea Higgins, and I am a dental hygiene educator.
Awesome. What brought you to teaching dental hygiene?
So I'd always said kind of wanted to get into teaching. When I was in dental hygiene school, I was a teacher's assistant. I'd been out of school for a few years, and one of my jobs, I ran into a coworker that was teaching at a local community college, and she kind of got me into teaching, and kind of the rest is history.
Nice. Did you have to do any extra schooling for that or anything extra?
Well, lucky for me, I had received my bachelor's degree in dental hygiene school, so I didn't have to have any extra schooling to be able to go into education.
Oh, nice. And how long have you been teaching for?
So I've been teaching a total for 10 years now.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're well experienced then.
Yep, I like to think
Nice.
so.
Yeah. Um, So, as you know, I'm just in my first semester. Is there anything, well, what would you think would be the highlight, something I would look forward to in the program?
Well, I think in this program, in any dental hygiene program, you've got a lot to look forward to. I feel like, there's a lot, not only didactically, but clinically, um, that's part of the dental hygiene program. Be tested both mentally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know that when I was in dental hygiene school, one of my classmates, they became lifelong friends. I still often find myself saying, when I was in dental hygiene school, I did this or I did that. So I think you make lifelong memories in dental hygiene school. It tests you beyond your limits, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah, and I've heard that a lot where people say when they go to hygiene school, they are friends for life. And like I heard this before going to school. So I remember in our orientation, I was like looking around the room. I'm like, these are my new friends.
Yep, yep. You're not going to stay lifelong friends with all of them, but there's usually a handful that those are your buds.
Right. Now, I know at the very end of the program, we have board exams, and I know this is obviously a very big deal. Can you kind of give me an idea of what our board exams like?
So funny you asked. There's board exams going on at school this week. Board
Oh,
exams are stressful, no doubt about
mm-hmm.
that. However, you don't take all the exams at one time. So you start with your written local anesthetic exam that you take once you complete local anesthetic class after semester 4. And then you take your national board exam, which is your great big written exam in semester 6 before you graduate.
Oh,
And then
nice.
you have the big credits exam, which is going on this week.
Do you do those all on the same day, or do you split them up on different days? How does that work?
Yeah, they're over the course of 3 days. So today
Okay.
was local anesthetic, tomorrow's restorative, and Friday's the prophy boards.
Okay. Nice. So, in order to get to the board exams, um, the students that do the best in the classes, what are the qualities that you see in them?
So how are students successful into getting to those board exams?
Yeah, like when you're teaching them in class, like do you notice there are certain students where you're like, "Oh, I think they're going to do really well."
Probably the most successful students I see are the students who plan ahead. They
Mm,
start large projects early, they tackle requirements in clinic early, so they're not waiting till the last minute to be complete with things.
okay.
That's I think what they are. And then, to be more successful, I think they need to work together as a team. Just like in a well-run dental office, everybody works together as a team. Sometimes there's going to be things you're good at that somebody else isn't good at. You can help them out. They're going to be good at things you're not. You can help them out. Learn to help each other. Do not be afraid to reach out when you do need help. To your classmates, to instructors for help. Uh, Never want to let yourself get too far behind because it can be very, very difficult to catch back up.
Yeah. I know in my class, everyone's pretty good about openly asking for help and people are there to help each other out. So I definitely feel like my class is definitely a really good class to be in. All right. And then so this is just like a fun question for me to ask you, but do you have any favorite dental products?
I do. I have quite a few favorite dental products, but I would say I'm a little biased. I like American Eagle dental products and young products. American
American
Eagle,
Eagle, like the clothing brand?
well, the American Eagle instruments, they have
Oh,
gold
this
instruments
is it
called
different?
XP instruments that you don't have to
Okay.
sharpen. I don't
Oh,
know if you've
really?
seen those.
I haven't, no.
Yeah, and so those are pretty cool. I like those, and they have resin handles. They're really light. Um, they're easy to use, and then young products. They have a cordless handpiece that works really well, and also is super lightweight and very ergonomic. But I always say, full disclosure, I was a clinical representative for this company for 6 years.
Ah,
So, so, but I always say I wouldn't have worked for them if I didn't believe in their products. So,
okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good. At least you're being honest about that part of it. Um, do you use an electric toothbrush?
I do. I do. I use an electric toothbrush. I've used both a Braun Oral B and a Sonicare.
And did you have a favorite that you like to use?
Well, right now I'm using the Oral B, the IO. I got one for free
Oh, nice.
last year,
It's
and
always
I
a
like
perk
that
of
one a lot.
it's always a
Hmm.
perk of being in the dental field is you get to try products and because I feel like um electric toothbrushes, they're not a cheap thing, so to get one for free is to me like a huge bonus.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, I feel you get to know people and you get to know the reps, and there is it is a big perk. You get free things, and then the more in going to conferences or CE courses or things like that, then usually you get perks of those kind of things, or volunteer events and things like that. Usually you can get some freebies at those kind of things too.
Awesome. That sounds like fun. I personally like using the Sonicare. I've been using it for years and I just really like it. I had the opportunity, well, I did get a free toothbrush and Oral-B through the office I was working at the time. And I tried it and I r- I just prefer Sonicare. And I know everyone has their preferences, but yeah, Sonicare is where I've landed at.
Yeah. And I like Sonicare too. It's just that the Oral B was just the last one that I got for free, and I just liked it, and I got a bunch of heads with it, so I've just been
Oh,
using that the last year or two. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Nice. Well, that's all the questions that I have. All I have to say is I look forward to having more of your classes.
Well, that's great. I look forward to having your class. They seem like an engaged group. I always like it when people are interested and engaged.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed there are some classes where we're not as engaged. Like, I don't know if it's the subject matter or maybe it's just the personality of the teacher. And so it's just kind of like the teacher gives us information and then we just sit there and listen. And when we're in a class where we're more engaged, it's a totally different dynamic. So definitely more, I feel like it's a better environment for learning.
Yeah, and that's my goal, is to try to keep people engaged and try to bring in hands-on and different your different senses. And that's, I think, what was so tragic about teaching during COVID, where we were exclusively online.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, and yes, maybe I'll interview you later on when we're several semesters ahead, and I don't know, we can look back on how far we've come.
Sure, that sounds great.
Awesome. Well, thanks again.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to today's episode. It truly means a lot. I look forward to sharing more experiences with you on the next episode. Until then, I am Dax Scott, and you dental nerds keep it real.